But keep in mind that these are my mother's affairs. All I can offer is either hearsay or my own guesswork. This much I can say for sure, though. She, Professor Hamilton, and Agnes's grandmother shared a close-knit relationship. Nearly 6 decades ago, my mother lived in the capital as an orphan. Crime was so rampant back then that by the age of 12, she was already a habitual pickpocket and burglar. It was then that she snuck into the home of a certain somebody. That somebody was none other than Sheena Dirke. The hero of the Democratic Revolution, over 70 years old and long retired from the world of politics. She played on her piano a melody that drew my mother in, ridding her of all notions of thievery. A series of events later, the two had bridged their multi-generational divide, becoming close friends. From what I gather, it was through Sheena's instruction that my mother discovered a new side of herself as a chansonnier. Not long after, Professor Epstein arrived from Le Mans State at the Republican government's invitation. They had brought him in to design Tryon Tower, during which time he stayed at Sheena's residence. In order to select and survey potential locations for the tower's construction, he had my mother, who was familiar with the capital, act as his guide. Shortly thereafter, his disciple LaToya and foster daughter Lilia also came to join him in the Republic. Though this threw my mother off at first, she and the girls soon took to one another, and before long, a site for the tower was decided. As a reward for her help, Professor Epstein gifted my mother the Fantanox compact. If I had to guess, that little transformation tool may have been created using the same technology he used to work on the Genesees. That's likely the reason it reacts to them every now and again. In any case, my mother accepted the compact despite her hesitation, kicking off our family tradition of working double lives. As for LaToya, Lilia, and the professor, they continued to keep in touch even after returning to Le Mans State. 2 years later, however, word of Professor Epstein's death suddenly reached Sheena and my mother. My mother then took a horse-drawn carriage to Le Mans and reunited with Lilia and LaToya. The loss of the professor resulted in much turmoil. And amidst it all, my mother was tasked by LaToya and Lilia with bringing the latter back to Calvard in secret. Lilia was then taken into Sheena's household, spending several years with her under a different surname. When Sheena eventually passed at the age of 80, Lilia, with my mother's aid, learned to fend for herself at 18 and began living on her own. From then until the day Lilia left this world at age 46, she and my mother supposedly remained the best of friends. And included in their circle, I'd wager, was LaToya Hamilton, the only one of the 3 disciples who knew the truth.